What up, though, honorees? Welcome back to the Honoring Me, My Evolution podcast, conversations over coffee or wine, or like I love to say, whatever you want to roll up here with. I am M. Rochelle. I am your host of this conversation of real talk, raw and uncut, like I love it. And it just shows me. I just feel that the authenticity comes out clearer when I'm not concerned about a script. And because I've never did it like other people did it, I like to break the rules, so to speak, in a sense. So yeah, I like doing things my way. So that's why we're raw and uncut, and I welcome you back into the Grace Haven. And today we're going to do it a little bit differently. Don't have a script. However, as I reviewed my previous videos, I noticed that there's a lot of things that I kind of left out or didn't close off, because one of the challenges that you have when you're doing it, raw and uncut, no edits, and just, letting your heart flow and speaking on the things that I know that I want to talk about, but my mind is, jumping different areas, and so some things not necessarily closed off or spoken in the fullness of my, intention. So it may be unclear or not come across too well. So anyhow, that's what this episode is about. It's kind of running it back. We're going to bring clarity to some things that I feel was not a complete thought or wasn't, things I even missed, gems that I feel that are something that is, how can I say it, relevant to what my point or purpose is for this podcast. And yeah, so let's get into it. Oh, and before we get started, go ahead, like and subscribe. That is a free thing that you can do to support someone who is on a mission, who has a purpose with all that all that I'm trying to do and all that I'm believe that I'm meant to do. So sharing my story, bits and pieces that I believe will resonate with other people, that if you, regardless of what age, for me, I was in my late 40s before I realized that I was moving off of muscle memory, that I wasn't living, I was just existing. And as I said in the previous videos, I don't want that for anyone else. I let my children know, I let my young nieces and nephews know, and any other young person that I know, I share it with them. And this is an opportunity to do the same thing. Let everyone else know, to kind of reflect, do a self-reflection, see if it's something that, resonate with them, if they notice that about themselves, or maybe someone else that they love and care about, so they can pull them out of that mindset of just existing. Now, we say survival mode. We all have to have a level of survival mode, or having that mindset, knowing what to do if something unexpected happen. You have to be able to be quick on your feet and be able to make decisions or move accordingly, based off of the situation. However, we're not supposed to be, and shouldn't be, to a place where our daily lives, we're just existing. We're not doing the things that we're called to do. We're not tapping into our own wants and needs. Like I shared before, self-care, that was not part of it was nowhere near on my to-do list. It should have been, but it wasn't. It's times that I tried to do certain things. Like I mentioned, I used to get, the whole eyebrow arching and nails done. I start because I was trying to take care of me, but then life happens, and just like getting into the gym and stuff, life happens, and then once you get off your schedule, it's just so hard to get back on. At least it was for me. That was my story, So I'm taking daily intentional walks, steps. I have to encourage myself. I have to say, hey, you have to get up and do what it is you said that you was going to do, regardless of what it is, And when I say get up, it's, I'm active, of course, but not in the way that I used to be when I was punching the clock, and not the way that I expect it to be or want it to be, because I didn't expect to not be, punching the clock. So, with that being said, let me move on because I'm, kind of getting off track. And then my point of this whole running it back was to not get off track. So, first, let me say again, welcome, Honorees. Thank you for coming back. Let me kind of reiterate why I started this podcast. That's one of the things that I feel wasn't 100% clear. And I do have notes today because, again, I want to make sure that I am not missing anything. And we want to close the loop on any and everything that may have been either untouched or not closed off as far as being that complete thought. And let me know if, based off of the viewing, I should say, that you have had of the videos, excuse me, if it was something that I don't share here, because to me, I know what it was that I was trying to say, so I picked the things that I feel that I did not elaborate on enough. And again, things that I did not share that I intended to share. But you watching it, you may have found something that I didn't close off that I don't say. So if I do, put it in the comments, let me know, and I'll make sure that I do that, or send it to the email. All of that is in the description box, and let me know. So one of the things is me doing the Honoring Me. I'm a big person that, um, let me say, I'm big on, not trying to say I'm a big person, but anyway, um, um, getting back to it, I was realizing one day that listening to other people, whether I came across it in casual conversation, or like I shared in one of the other videos, being a part of webinars or master classes or in group settings, and hearing how people was talking, made me realize that I wasn't the only one that was in a survival mode mindset and living in that way. And one day in November, this past November, I said, you know what? Let me start sharing my story. I believe that we all have a testimony that needs to be shared. I believe that that's one of the purposes the Lord has us here for. We all go through things, and it's to help the next person heal from it, work through it, make them aware of it before they even experience. Just like how we teach our children certain things, it's not that they experienced it yet, but it's in the back of their head, or in that, vault, to that file that will allow them to say, hey, such and such told me about this. Mama told me about this, Dad, and so on and so forth, told me about this already. So they're aware of it, and they know how to navigate through those certain situations if they ever arise, or be a source of information to someone else that may be experiencing it. So, what I was saying is, back in November, I had that, I made a decision, because I've been thinking about doing a podcast for years, to be honest. And I never found the balance to, in life, work life and, balance, to start something new. Again, being in survival mode, just focus on what had to be done. That muscle memory thing, bringing anything in new, just wasn't, part of the equation at the time. So this past November, I made a decision to launch the podcast December 1st. I gave myself less than a month to get it done. And so I immediately start strategizing and trying to lay out the foundation of what it was that I wanted to say and what I wanted to accomplish. And one of those things, the biggest thing for me, is to keep someone from getting into that mindset and or sharing the information to help them recognize them being in that mindset, and everyone coming out and taking the intentional steps to stay out of that mindset, because it's a lot of things that's not healthy for us. And let me make this very clear. I am not any type of clinician. I know a lot of clinical things, but I'm not a licensed clinician at all. So I cannot say that things that you're going through is related to being in survival mode. I can say the things that I've learned that was something that I've experienced that very well can be part of, being in survival mode. So that's something you have to talk to your own doctor for and things like that. And I'm also not a therapist. However, I do, again, know some things. Allergies apparently bothering me because my eyes keep watering. But um, I'm not a therapist, but I do know some things. That's all I can say. Life experiences, me learning and taking those steps for myself, determining things that work for me well. And the biggest thing for me is Christ. I get into the Word, I go and watch church. Haven't found a church home here, unfortunately, but I am locked into church on Sundays and Wednesdays, and I'm learning and I'm growing spiritually. So with that came a lot of revelations for myself and what I've gone through, what I'm going through. The difference from now than it was then is that as I go through, I'm at peace with it all. That's what I want for everyone. That's tapping into Christ, because he brings the peace that surpasses all understanding. And I also want to be very clear that although the space is for everyone, another big goal of mine is to share Christ with people. Okay? This is real talk. This is real life. These are things that's going on. So if anything that I've learned on my spiritual walk, if you're not yet there spiritually to walk through storms with peace, regardless of all the hell that's breaking loose around you and all of the, how some things in life happen where it's a domino effect, like that is literally one thing after another, where you're ready to, throw some hands or, scream or whatever the case may be. That's something that you can conquer without having to lose any piece of sanity. Okay, so that's something I also want to share with everyone too. Again, have a disclaimer. I'm not a minister. I have not studied seminary, theology, none of that type of stuff that's connected to being a, a spokesperson on I guess I should say on the church level, but we all have our own way of ministering to people. And one of my ways, I believe, would be this podcast and sharing my experiences, which I believe I went through to share with people, and I believe that's what God intended. Okay, so with that said, reading from my notes, I want to also, that's what I was saying, the honoring me. When I made the decision to do this podcast, I said that I wanted to be about me taking the intentional steps of becoming a person that was living, not existing, a person that decided to be accountable to herself, a person that decided to change the way that, I was moving. That's what I wanted to do. And that's where Honoring Me came from. And then immediately the acronym meaning came, which is my evolution, because this is my evolution and it is something that I have to do every day intentionally to become a better me. I was always a good person. Don't, get me wrong. I was always a good person, as I'm pretty sure there's so many of you that are good people. However, you get pulled out of character. Why? Because you have so much that's on top of you, so many responsibilities or so many things that's not going the way that you intended or expected them to go, or relationships are putting pressure on you, work putting pressure on you. These are some things that I can honestly say caused me to come out of character, regardless of how good of a person and how good of a heart that I have and how compassionate I am for other people and want to help this, that, and another. It was a lot. One little thing can have me come out of character. And that's something that I wish someone would have told me when I was in my 20s and 30s and even my early 40s, that you don't have to live like that. You don't have to pop off. You don't have to come out of character. You can, take a deep breath before you respond. And majority of the time I did automatically, just kind of took a deep breath. And other times I reacted to nonsense from someone else. I would just react. So yeah, who got time for that, right? So that's where Honoring Me came from. The Grace Haven came from because I wanted to, name the space, just like I wanted to name the people that came into the community, which is the Honorees, because we are honoring our evolution. We are honoring our effort to intentionally move every day and grow and be better than we were yesterday. So we're honorees because we're honoring ourselves. So we're honorees, right? So the Grace Haven is because we're all supposed to, the community, I should say, is meant for us to come together, be a safe space, to be able to share our experiences, to be able to learn from one another, to come into a space that, when you share your information, like I said, I may share things that's a cringe moment for me, but because the space that I'm setting up is safe for me to share with you, because I believe that although it's a moment that I may not be proud about, but I'm okay with sharing it. And I'm okay with forgiving myself for whatever it is I have done in the past that I wasn't happy about, regardless of what it was. And so whether or not you can see the forgiveness or agree that I should or you should be forgiven for what you have done, that's what the space is all about. Because you don't have to forgive me, but I forgive myself, and I know the Lord forgives me, and that's the only thing that matters, right? So it should be the same for you. So let's see here. I have so many notes, so this may be a little bit longer than I wanted or expected it to be, but bear with me. I am learning this process. So you're coming along on the journey with me, on the journey of me being intentional with becoming a person that God created me to be, to stand in all of my awesomeness. And I'm also learning this whole setup and trying to stay on point, but at the same time, move as my heart flows and what comes to mind to share with everyone. And I'm taking time to talk because that first video, I'm like, too damn much. and it was annoying watching it back. So forgive me. Okay, again, Grace Haven. This is what we do, right? For all of that. That's me. That's one of the challenges, again, of being raw and uncut. So, moving on with everything. So, the Grace Haven. I know, and one of here I go with that. I wanted to really drive home the Grace Haven because I want you all to know that it is a safe space. I want you all to continue to share. Start sharing is more accurate. Okay? Start sharing things that you want to discuss. What you want to hear my opinion on it? You want to hear my experience of it? As I move forward with the podcast, it's going to be a lot more than just me talking. However, this is what makes sense right now to get people familiar with me, share parts of my story, share. Yeah, I'm gonna start doing a little bit other, moments as well. And that's another thing that I wanted to clear up in the first video, the pilot. I stated how I wanted to, and my intentions was to do this every week. It's still a goal. However, I'm gonna be doing it bi-weekly because I have a couple of other projects going on, and it just makes it easier to meet deadlines bi-weekly than weekly. So clear that up as well. In that first official episode, we were talking about survival mode. How do you know that you're in it? How do you, how you recognize that you're in it? And I believe I was very clear on that as far as from my experience. I do know that I brought the Google AI overview in it and everything, sharing bits and pieces from that. And that's what I was saying resonated with me when I did that one little, just out of curiosity, search on Google. And I was like, wait a minute, what? Because I have been experiencing certain things at, a very young age. So to me, without a doctor diagnosis, I'm like, oh, this had to have started because of being in survival mode. And when you're not taking care of yourself and you're neglecting yourself, things do happen, right? So it's not just self-care, it's our health, it's our sleep. And if we're not getting enough sleep, that causes issues, right? And so I hope that some of those things, which was the memory, digestive issues, the whole popping off, the just existing, not, neglecting yourself. And I'm going off memory here. And it was other things that resonate with me, and I'm sure resonate with other people as well, as far as how you can recognize some of the signs that you can recognize that you're in survival mode. That whole rushing, I don't know about you, but I used to rush all the time. Now, I did have 4 children, and I did have 3 that was, back to back to back, right? So we were always rushing. It was always something in the morning. And because everyone's schedule was what it was, we was rushing from one destination to the next. So it was just a day, never finding a moment to woosah or to take that 15-minute break to breathe that I discussed in episode 2, and other ways that you can do, take a break and take care of yourself, which I'm jumping to the episode 2, so which was the firewall, which is, again, the things that we can do to help pull us out of survival mode, right? So that's you taking a moment to reset, taking a moment to breathe through before you respond, so you're not as impulsive or popping off or coming out of character, reacting to someone else's nonsense, because that's what I would say. Like, I'm reacting off of your action towards me. But if I know that's pulling me out of character, why am I still doing it? And also, people, when they see that you're, usually calm, and you're usually Well, I was in my own world because I was just so focused on doing what had to be done or whatnot. I didn't pay much attention to a whole bunch of nonsense. If it came to my door, that was different. If it came to my door and you interrupted whatever moment I had to myself and you came at me wrong, that's where the popping off came in there, right? So we ain't got time for that, especially now that I'm 50. Really, who got time for that? Not me. So I protect my peace. That's setting boundaries. It's being okay with no. And the thing about it is, I don't have a problem saying no. I never had a problem saying no. I just genuinely did not mind. I don't mind helping people because I do have a very large, compassionate, caring heart. I want to help people. I was at the point which I have not identified whether or not this was a survival mode reaction or not. And I don't have to necessarily, but if it's something that you're doing and other things that has been shared kind of make you feel that you're been in survival mode, then you can take heed to it or whatnot. But I would say yes because I wanted to say yes. Because again, I really did not mind. Some people have a problem saying no because they don't want to disappoint anyone, or they have the issue um, of people pleasing and things like that. That ain't me. It's never been me. And by it not being me, it took a lot to recognize that my kindness was being taken for weakness. I know we all heard that saying before. And I've been talking for a while now, and I don't think I even touched my notes yet. So, my bad. But what I was saying in regards to that is that you have to be okay with saying no. Those are boundaries. I would go and help anyone who needed help. Can I say that's part of being in survival mode? I don't personally believe so, but you all, somebody may see this and say, girl, yeah, that is part of being in survival mode too. So, school me on something. I'm okay with that. But for me, I'm just a nice person. And I genuinely don't care helping. Now, if I truly can't do something, then yeah. But sometimes I did get caught up doing things that it's not that I didn't want to do. It may have just been a inconvenient time, and I did go ahead and make it happen. But yeah, it very well may be part of the whole survival mode thing. So anyhow, with that being said, what I want is for us to grow together on this journey as we are intentionally staying out, coming out, staying out, avoiding altogether that mindset, that way of life, that rushing, that moving off muscle memory, that not doing what it is that you desire to do for yourself. Yes, take care of the babies. Yes, take care of your man. Yes, take care of your parents. Do those things, but you got to take care of you too. I have to take care of me. That's why I say that we all need to get in the habit of saying, I'm going to honor me. I'm going to honor me. That's another thing that the whole point, I'm a big hand person, as y'all see. I've always moved with my hands. It intimidated some people for whatever reason, but for me, I'm just, I don't know, animated like that. So, um, with that being said, the honoring me is almost like a contract to myself. And I encourage you to have it as a contract for yourself that when your day gets away from you, when you're pulled out of character, when you are getting yourself upset over someone else's nonsense, whether it's towards you um, or not, you just step back and say, wait a minute, am I honoring me in this moment? Or stop and say, because I want to honor me, I'm not going to respond in that way. Or, whatever you need to do for yourself to just become a better you. I wish I had that mentor or older sibling. I have older siblings. Let me make that clear. But the older siblings that actually took you on the journey with them, or as far as sharing what they, learned as they hit that age or whatever the case may be. My household was very dysfunctional, unfortunately, so I didn't have the relationship with my all girls, so all sisters, didn't have a relationship with them to help me out in any way. And with that being said, as wonderful as my mother was, rest up, mama. I was on my mama energy today, so that's why I'm wearing my mama today. Um, but with that being said, as wonderful as she was, as beautiful as her spirit was, she gave what she was able to give, and that was supporting us. She kept a roof over our head. She kept us, being able to be in a nice neighborhood and taking care of her children, and she gave us a foundation of God. So that's gonna trump. Ugh, how did I just say that name? I don't even. Well, the word term, I don't like it, so I actually might have to edit this. Anyhow, my point is the foundation of Christ will or does and did supersede everything that I felt that I may not have gotten growing up. So we raised ourselves. I really don't have much recollection, which to me is proof of being in survival mode, even as a youngster, because I don't have much recollection of interactions. My mom worked a lot. Um, let me say me, did not see her much because she was either coming in after I went off to school and had already gone again to another shift. She was a registered nurse, so she was doing 12, 16s, damn near 24s if you ask me, because that's how little that I did get to see her. So, survival mode apparently been my life for a very long time. And that's why I said, no more. And that's what I want for you. I want you to not be in your late 40s realizing it. I want you to, if you come across this and you're a younger individual, don't be one of the ones that don't take heed to the wisdom of those that's older than you. But it doesn't matter. It can be teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever. If any of this resonate with you, join the community. Again, like and subscribe. That's free. You're just supporting someone who have great intention, has a purpose, and growing and learning the journey themselves. Anything resonate with you, that's when the sharing comes in. Share with someone that you think. It's a slow stroll that we're doing right now because I'm learning this space. I'm learning to be, I guess, in this space in the way that you may be used to, but still being me. And this is me. I just usually talk faster, but when I talk faster, I'm trying to control the thoughts that's going through my mind because my mind runs 1,002 miles a minute. So That's where a lot of those ums and the not closing off certain points, because I'm jumping to the next one and I'm having these thoughts. So today I'm moving just a tad bit slower because I want to make sure that I hit things. And again, I was trying not to say all those times, but let's see. And that's smacking. Like, why am I smacking in between? I don't know. So excuse that. I do want to make sure that I I did explain the Grace Haven and why I, named it the Grace Haven. And as far as the firewall, as far as boundaries, being okay with saying no, taking your woosah moment, taking a breath before you respond to somebody's nonsense. And don't get me wrong, okay? I am very aware of how people try to play in your face. Trust me though, sometimes, I'm not saying all times, sometimes it's best to let them think that you are unaware of that shade, disrespectful statement. Sometimes it's not worth it, because the Bible does tell you when you argue with a fool, it's difficult to know which one is the actual fool. I sat there and when I read that, it's in Proverbs, y'all. Like PT say, you read the whole Bible, you'll know, you'll find it. But I know it's Proverbs. I know for a fact it's Proverbs. So you sit there and you arguing with a fool. It's hard for someone else to tell which one of y'all is the fool. So why waste your time? And I learned that arguing with people who just have every intention on misunderstanding you anyway, it's totally not worth your time. And I'm someone that people always misunderstood. And very early on, I would say definitely in my early 30s. So I didn't explain anything. The most I used to do was say that wasn't what I meant, but they still took it that way. So I can't help how you take what I say. And as you can tell, I have more of a stronger delivery than a soft delivery with some of them things that I say, but I'm animated like that. And I will always tell someone, if I'm coming at you like that, you're gonna know. It's just that simple. You're gonna know. So, anyhow, I think I might have to come back and do this again. I enjoyed the talk and the conversation. Talking to myself. It's kind of like a personal digital journal, not journey. Well, it's a journey for me, but because I'm saying it all to the camera, it's like a journal, right? So, might have to have a second entry because I don't want to take this too much longer than it already is. So, with that being said, I want to share this and I want to um, let you all know that this is going to be a part of the ending of the videos, which is called the grace note. You see how I keep playing off of grace? Because we need grace. Thank God for grace. And just to be clear again, it's a safe space. We come and we having fun. It's kind of serious talk. Oh, excuse me. My bad. It's serious talk now. See, I'm going to keep this in here and let y'all know how serious I am about being raw and uncut. So I'm not going to even bleep that out. It is what it is. But I'm playing off the grace note. Oh, we're playing off the word grace. So we got the grace haven, we got the grace note. So the grace note is going to be, the message at the end of the video to hopefully encourage you as I allow it to encourage me. And today, let's see, okay, here it is. I apologize because I have so many notes that I didn't touch on everything, which is so wild because I've been talking this long. I told y'all I like to talk. But I want grace isn't just for when we mess up, it's the few that allows us to start over. It isn't just a safety net for our mistakes, it's the few for our growth. If you feel like you're rushing through life, if you feel like you're rushing through your healing process, your being a better you, don't rush. It's, just as slow as I'm talking today. Just to keep track of my, thoughts and everything, but just pacing yourself. So I don't want to say slow. I've been pacing myself today more so than the previous videos. So we're pacing ourselves today. So pace yourself with your healing, pace yourself with your self-reflecting and growing and becoming a better you, because God is in no rush. He got plans for you, and he knows exactly when you're going to get to a place where you're opening yourself up to him and his will for you. So you don't have to rush it. But I do encourage you to try to start, take the step. And like I said before, this space is for everyone, but I strongly encourage you that if you do not know Christ, if you are not aware of his true character, if you don't know him for yourself, because for me, I was in my, I'll say almost mid 30s before I start growing and building a relationship with Christ for myself and not going off what my mama said and all of the elders said. I learned them for me. And what I say, that was in my, before I hit, I know it was like probably 30, well, maybe I was about 35. But look at that. I'm 50 now. Praise God. And you see, it's a slow grind. It's a slow process to grow and to truly allow him to move in your life if you let him, right? So I started building my own relationship, learning him for myself, getting the revelations, but still I was in survival mode. I was deep in survival mode at that time too. It's wild. So yeah, you don't have to rush it. He knows how to talk to you and strengthen you and move you forward. All you got to do is go to him and say, "What up? I'm ready." Like, truly, the Lord is my very best friend. So if you don't know him, I encourage you to get to know him. So like I was saying, it's not something that you have to rush for, but you do need to be intentional about it. So y'all, I'm hitting that damn near hour mark, which was not my intention. But like I said, I was pacing myself today. I want to, I did close out a lot of things, I believe, but it's some things that I didn't share that I wanted to share. So that's why I think I'm going to do like a running it back 2.0 type of thing. And then I can also share the goals as far as where I'm trying to go with this and how, maybe the ultimate goal, maybe I should say it like that, as far as where I'm trying to take this podcast. It's so many goddamn podcasts out here, it's crazy, right? So I am being intentional with my message and what I want to share with everyone, because I think everyone, although everyone's doing their own thing and they have, their own set of goals and whatever, but I'm trying to, it's life changing to me. That's what it is. It's life changing. It's letting you know how Christ changed my life, how he's still changing my life, how I need him every day. But I also want to get into real conversation as far as topics and as far as the things that we're dealing with today and how we can navigate through them. I want to also share my experiences with people who may be in the same spot, same situation. or again, know someone that they can share it with. So, just, let me wrap it up. And hey, come back. Come back. Your girl is figuring it all out, but trust me, get better with time. Trust and believe. We gonna get better with time. So as of right now, we just kicking it. Well, I'm kicking it, you know. Talking to the camera, but you know, if you got this far, let me just say that um I want us to, you know, be, have fun. Oh, I didn't share my drink today, but today I'm just sipping on some, my favorite drink. If I'm gonna drink juice, it's gonna be the Simply Lemonade Raspberry. Absolutely love it. And I just realized that I skipped that. But yeah, hey, until next time, Honorees, just stay. I'm gonna stay hungry. I'm gonna stay intentional with honoring me. I encourage you to do the same. I want to reiterate the John 10:10. I'm going to share more verses with you. I feel that that's what we need. And it's me being accountable for myself. It's helping me as well. It's for you, but it's for me, right? So, but with John 10:10, letting us know that the enemy come to kill, steal, and destroy, which is so relevant to the whole survival mode mindset, because that's exactly what it does. If we're not taking care of ourselves, if we're neglecting ourselves in any way, if we're not going after our goals, our dreams, our purpose, what we just feel so deep down in us that we're supposed to be doing, if we're, holding on to a person or a job, um, knowing that they're not, good for us, good for our peace, our mental stability, our emotions, things like that. That's not honoring you. So it's like making those changes. I know I stayed in jobs that I was so ready to walk off of, but as I say, somebody had to take care of them babies. So just leaving, I couldn't do without a plan, right? So it takes time to, seek new employment, all that type of stuff. But again, I really am hitting that hour mark. Oh my goodness. Hey y'all, stay real out here in these streets. Stay honoring you. Stay intentional. Stay safe. Okay? And tap in, like I said, all the links. Follow us Instagram, send us an email. Oh, this even be on Spotify. So, did I share that? I have to look and see if I put that in the description. If I didn't before, I will this time. But yeah, hey, just stay real out in these streets. And what I mean by that is just being honest, being kind, not letting the nonsense of this world, whether it's people you know or don't know, because just the world in general is real crazy. But God is still on the throne. You trust him and you believe him, he got us. But you truly do got to tap in with him. So I'm going to leave it at that for this time at the Grace Haven. And yeah, see you next time.